That's sort of a question out to the group.
I think my understanding is we're going to try to come together with some ideas and direction, and it's going to take us some time to digest them all. And I think that we should be thinking, like Doug just said, Brown, we should be thinking what's going to be there in 5 years,
Right.
basically, versus what we need to do next week. Because the other committee that John Cahill's on in Santoro, that's the short term dealing
Right.
with what's going on now. So I think we need to be looking at what can be in 5 years, what should the steamship be doing and how can they be helping the island at that time? And maybe maybe they will have maxed out their capacity for shipping, and maybe they do need to look at building that electric boat that we need to have on the island to reduce the carbon footprint. I mean, it's out there. I mean, they're doing them in Seattle right now. So while they're retrofitting with battery or solar.
Leon, that's a great point. And I don't think even right now we know what's going to happen 6 months, or I think once this COVID shakes out, on the island, how many people do you know that they like it? They're able to do their work from here. They're going to be coming here permanently. I think we're a year away from knowing how this is going to shake out, and how great the population is going to grow because of the COVID. Are people going to go back? Are they going to stay here later in the fall? So that's going to be a major factor too on how we move forward. What happens?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people are actually staying here this fall. And I was at a restaurant and I said, someone's going to need to start looking about, because all the restaurants are getting ready to close. And some of those people want to eat out and they're not going to be available.
That's because there's no help right now.
I know that too.
If we could have had the census a year later, would have been lovely. The fact that the census is happening now when all these folks are not getting counts on the vineyard is keeping me up at night.
That's right. Yeah.
Ultimately, a lot of these changes will be good in a lot of ways.
Are you seeing it in Falmouth also?
The whole Cape, tons of people are coming here and buying up all the houses and just coming here and staying because they feel safer in a rural environment.
Well, you're going to see more excise taxes coming in. Obviously, people start registering. I don't think anybody wants to be seen with a New York license plate, so
yeah,
I'm going to register here.
That's probably true. Well,
whether that is a good thing or not remains to be seen.
That's correct.
Well, I hope we can, in the short term, Steamship Authority guys will continue to look for financial incentives and disincentives to manage and maximize your boats and keep them full all the time, and that'll be up to you. And I agree that the long-range planning, I think a 5-year time frame is good for us, and I think that's practical. And we'll probably have to reassemble in a couple of years and reevaluate our plan.
Mark, I brought it up at the last meeting about, it's been said to me that it's cheaper to bring your car over in the summer than it is to park your car for 7 days or 10 days. What could possibly be done to encourage people? Is that one thing you could do, reduce the parking fees to keep people from bringing their car over? Do you feel that's the case?
We can look at spreading that difference out, both ways. One thing about our parking, we're cheaper than all the other parking lots around. We last year, like we said earlier, we implemented that peak pricing and even extended the shoulder periods where we're busier. That's where the rate increases fell last year. And if there are any needed ones coming up, that's what we look again. Because if you look at the cost of our car in the peak summer, as far as the total cost of the vacation, it's not that, it's not a huge piece when you consider the cost of the house and everything else.
Right. Yeah.
And Mike, one of the other issues that comes is that if you hop in a cab, a family of 4, and you go from Vineyard Haven to where I live in West Tisbury,
you can't fit everything in the taxi.
It's $80.
It's $80 and you can't fit all your luggage in that.
Right. So if you go out to dinner a couple of times, you've already exceeded the cost of bringing your car with you. So I think that the only group that you could look to stay on the other side with a person would be the day tripper. that's only coming over and going back, and that would be the incentive for them
If I
to park their car and come over.
was going for the week and I was traveling, and the convenience of having everything in my car, not having to take it out and put it on a bus and going with all the suitcases and get for, there's a certain price point that makes it not worth my while. I don't know what that price point is. The difference, you know, say if the car was $100 more, would that drive people to leave it behind for the week? You know, what is that price point?
Well, we also talked about the vacationer. How do we, as an island, limit the number of cars per household? That came up before too. You've got vacations bringing 3 cars, you know, three car, I don't know, at least 2, not 3 cars over. How do we deal with that on our end?
Tax them.
Welcome
You
back.
can't do that. I'll give you an example. My cousins come here and they come from 4 different places: New York, Philadelphia, Boston, and Medford. So they each come in a car. That's 4 cars for one house, but they're all coming from different places. So that's a situation where you have 4 cars in one building.
Good point.
Well, as I said earlier, it's not all about how much capacity the steamship has. There are multiple factors that go into this. Certainly, you know, the example of the cost of taxis is a good example of the woeful lack of infrastructure that we need to move people around. I mean, ideally, we still want people to come here. We need them. To some extent, we need them. To a great extent, we need them. As much as I hate to personally admit that, we need them because they bring dollars. I've often joked that I wish they would just mail us their wallets, but they don't do that. They want to come over here and they want to spend their money, and we need a certain amount of that. And 55% of the houses here are owned by seasonal residents, for goodness sake, and they want to come over here and they pay a lot of taxes. So we have to be able to provide sufficient infrastructure on this island to move people around so they can get to places where they can spend the money, so islanders can make a living and still not clog the roads. I mean, that's really what it's about. It's about clogging the roads, and it's terrible in the summer at certain points. Down where Mike's fish store is, where my office is, it's terrible. And we don't want it to get even worse, because then people aren't going to come here. So, you know, we've got to deal with moving people around as much as we do limiting the number of cars that get over here.
It's gonna
Right.
become the Yogi Berra. It's so busy, no one comes there anymore. No one
Yeah.
goes there anymore.
You know, we could be more informative too. You know, there's certain, as you know, Doug and Keith and Leon, there's certain times of the day over here where certain intersections get busy. We know Eggertown Triangle, to forget it, from 10 to 11:30 in the morning, people go on the beach. 5 Corners at 4 o'clock. You know, I always wondered if we could work with the steamship to maybe mail something or be more informative on certain areas to avoid during certain times of the day on the island also, to help alleviate that. Not that people would listen to that, but people are leaving the beach at a certain time, they're going at a certain time. But I just know we've got 3 or 4 areas and it's always the same time of day that is congested.
I'm sure Sean would be happy to help with the outreach on that, because we're all in this together. Sorry, Sean.
You know, maybe we can.
My sound broke up. What was that, Mark? I was also going to suggest the chamber might be a good partner in that as well.
Well,
Mike-
the commission could be, we have, you know, they have a transportation,
Planner.
Mike could be very helpful in that also.
That's almost a full meeting, you know, to discuss transportation on the vineyard and even from Falmouth to Woods Hole.
And you run into the same same financial issues with transportation on the vineyard when you're talking about VTA. You know, they can't make any money in the winter. I mean, that's really what their problem is, and they cut back dramatically on their on their runs. I mean, I have a son who doesn't drive. He can't drive, and when he's here, if I don't drive him around, he can't get anywhere because I live in West Tisbury, and you know, it's a rural island. So we've got to come up with ways to deal with that sort of thing. It's tough.
Okay, I apologize for having dropped off, and hopefully you can hear me now. My bandwidth is low. This is telling me for some reason it stopped. We're at a hard stop at 6 o'clock. It's now 5:50. Shall I talk with Bob Davis about what happened after I left and see where we go from here? I don't think we ever thought we would solve this problem with one meeting.
No, we solved the problem. We're done. We got it done, Steve. We didn't need you.
We're going to
Steve-
build a bridge.
Yeah.
And Steve,
Yes.
and we agree that
And
what
make
we're
the tourists
doing
pay
is
for it.
we're looking for 5 years from now for what we want to do. So we're not talking about tomorrow. That was one of the things that we talked about while in your absence.
Okay.
Well,
Because
John
what-
had a question about how long is this task force going to meet? I mean, is it 6 months? Is it a year? We never really answered that. And I'm kind of curious about that too. Do we have are we going to go for 10 months or 12 months or do we have a timeline?
We may have a natural life. We never addressed that. We just wanted to get it up and going, to have some type of long-term planning discussion between the Vineyard and Falmouth and the Steamship Authority. So that may be something that the task force talks about and says, what do they want to address and how long do they think it'll take?
If I can add to what Jim just said is, I think if we have all this energy of the people here today, is that we owe it to the steamship and to the island to come up with some sort of paper at the end of it, as opposed to just Zoom meetings. There should be a document that we can all sign off on.
Absolutely. Our final report of our take on it at the time, and then
Right.
revisit it as it becomes necessary.
And that becomes, relevant for the next group that has to look at it 5 years from now. How did we get here?
Or even annually, maybe, or
Yeah.
biannually, or whatever, when conditions seem to materially change.
Can I ask Doug, do you, listening to us and our issues, does it enlighten you as to some of the problems we are facing over here?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Every time I get into this, I learn more and more about the complexity of the problem and the difficulty in managing it. So I certainly appreciate the position you're in.
Good.
One thing I'd like to talk about in a future meeting is what the steamship is doing in terms of resiliency planning for climate disruption and what they see the effects being on steamship travel. If I don't know if that's something that we want to discuss, or if you could just brief us on what the discussions at the steamship level have been.
I think it's a conversation worth having.
Okay, yep,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Shall we set a time and date for the next meeting?
Yes.
Where did we go? 3 weeks, Steve, or 4 weeks between meetings? What was the last meeting? Was it 3 or 4
It
weeks?
was 4 weeks, actually. So this would be around October
15 and 22nd.
15th or 22nd, yeah.
But I know Doug Brown has an issue with Thursdays potentially.
Well, yeah, I do have another meeting on Thursdays, but it's not critical that I attend that. So I can bump it if it runs into it.
What is that, a selectmen's meeting, Doug?
No, it's not. It's a selectman. I'm a representative to Mark's building committee. It's a committee. They can get by without me if we happen to clash a couple times. Their meetings have not been as regular as, so I'm not going to plan around that.
What about October 15th?
Ding,
I
That's
have
good for
I have a
me.
conflict with that, Steve. Can we
That
do it?
works for me.
22nd?
It works for me.
Works for me.
Wait, Bob Davis says he has a conflict.
Do we need Bob Davis?
I have a conflict as well, too.
I'd like
you
the
and I
general
will have the
manager of
commission that night.
the entity we're talking about to be present.
What about October 22nd?
October 22nd. Okay.
I could do that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I want to thank Mark for being, Steve, Mark was valuable in coming up with the numbers and for us. So thank you, Mark.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
And will it be 4:30 to 6?
4:30 to 6. We still have public comment here. I'm going to go to our list of attendees. They've dwindled to 3. See if anyone raises a hand. Probably just as well. They probably shouldn't ask anything anyway at this point. So that's fine. Thank you for everyone. This is very interesting tonight, and we have a lot of things to think about.
We
If anyone
certainly
has
do.
any questions, feel free to reach me offline too.
Very good.
Okay,
Who's that?
thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
We need a motion to adjourn.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second,
Second.
Brathwaite, aye.
Brown eye.
Cahill,
Hey, Hill, aye.
Chattonover,
Chattanooga, aye. Thanks, everyone.
Davis,
Aye.
Law,
Aye.
Rosem,
Aye.
Santoro,
Aye.
Cedarholm,
Yes.
Suso,
Suso, aye. Thank you.
and Vercruz.
Jim Vercruzi, yes.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Until next time.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
Everyone.
Thank you. Thanks.